Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 48 of the Essential Wrestling Podcast. My name is Karl. As you see, it's a little bit of a weird setup right now. I'm kind of front and center, more than I really want to be. We have all of our band of merry men here on our right. I am actually not here live today. These you're going to see me come in and out here in these little taped videos. It's NXT TakeOver week. It's WrestleMania week. We're going to do our WrestleMania picks this upcoming Saturday at 12 noon. We'll get into that in a little bit. But I can't pass up the opportunity to make my picks for TakeOver. Too many points on the line. It's going to be too great of a show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Essential Wrestling Podcast. Ryan, hit that money-making music.
Welcome, everybody, to the Essential Wrestling Podcast. So you're not going to see Al all show, but as he indicated, he will be here throughout. We have a jam-packed show today. John Smith is here. John, how are you?
Good, man. I'm not much of a glory hog like Al. I'll keep my opinions to myself right now.
John DeCani, welcome to the show. The living legend is here.
Yes, thank you very much. Good to be along with you fellas, as always.
All right, well, today's show, like Al said, we have NXT TakeOver. We've got 10 matches to call there, so we're going to give you our analysis and everything on that. But we're going to start the show with Impact Wrestling. We have both their Thursday night show tonight, and we have Hardcore Justice. We have NXT UK Prelude this week. Gary will be here. We are going to talk through Dynamite. Then like I said, TakeOver. We've got SmackDown. And WrestleMania, we're putting all of that aside. WrestleMania, we have a special show that we're going to do this Saturday at noon. So stay tuned for that. Will be more details as we get through the proceedings here. But before we get to Impact, guys, tonight on the WWE Network, Peacock, whatever, WWE Hall of Fame, 8 p.m. This year's inductees include Kane, RVD, Molly Holly, The Great Khali, Eric Bischoff. Rich Herring gets the Warrior Award. Titus O'Neil gets the Warrior Award for last year. And then William Shatner, Jushin Thunder Liger, JBL, the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, the Bella Twins, and the NWO. It's a big, huge set of two classes. Anything, John Smith, you go first. Anything you need to say about any of these inductees?
I'm happy to see RVD is in there, but I'm also upset that RVD is at that point of his career because now he's the old guy. He'll never be winning a WWE title again, but he might win something somewhere else. But I guess his days are over, and I'm really excited about Kane because I've said it before. I think he's the best big man in history besides Andre the Giant.
Kane is one of those guys. As I've done interviews with several independent wrestlers down here in Florida, a lot of people talk about Kane as like this guy that they were really behind when they were youngsters, watching wrestling. He's like some of their favorite wrestlers. And it's kind of weird because he's not usually put in that Rock Stone Cold category, but a lot of people think that of him. John DeCani, what do you think of this year's Hall of Fame?
Along the same lines as John Smith, Kane, just about the ultimate company guy. He's done everything for them from, spoofing other characters to ridiculous characters to his own quintessential character. And then he was in a suit for a little while. The guy's just done everything. And I feel like you're saying, I feel like I took him for granted, not realizing just how important he did to the company. But, very few people deserve it quite as much as he does. And of course, RVD is kind of my guy. He's the guy for me that when, the obnoxious person says, I was onto that band when they were still underground, man. Like, he's that guy for me that I feel like I kind of discovered on my own. One of the first ECW shows that I saw and was just blown away by this guy. and have watched his career all the way through, and he's one of my all-time favorites. So it's going to be really good to see him go in. Not necessarily looking forward to hearing him talk, because that was never the strong part of his game, but it'll be interesting to see what actually comes out of him.
Well, we have shined a light on RVD here at the open of the show, much like the sun is shining on me. So if you see me throughout the show, it'll be over soon. The sun will go down here in Florida. One other Hall of Fame note: Batista was originally part of the 2020 class. He is not going to be going in this year. He'll go in a future date, just because he wants to be there in person. I've also got rumors of Ozzy Osbourne going in. That's not been announced by WWE, so but we'll all find out tonight at 8 o'clock. So there you have it. James Wheeler chiming in, as he always does. We want Tyler. Well, you know what? We don't have Tyler on the show today, but I do have Tyler's picks for TakeOver. So let's make sure we mock him on all of those. And my man Al, he'll be here throughout. So without further ado, guys, let's get into Impact, because we have a couple of things to talk about. First and foremost, Impact Wrestling, not on tonight. It's on Thursdays, starting this week. And they've announced a 6-man tag for this week's Impact Wrestling on Access TV. And it is going to be Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers versus Rich Swann, Eddie Edwards, and Willie Mack. I should note, when we get to Dynamite, there's also a 6-man tag with Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers on Dynamite this week. So they're pulling double duty here. Take the banner down so you can see the Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers 4-0 this year, believe it or not. So John Smith, you know what? Sorry, John DeConnie, as the senior Impact correspondent. Who do you think is going to walk out with a victory here on the first Impact Wrestling on Thursdays?
Yeah, I'm thinking just the fact that, like, at some point in time, there's going to be a moment where Kenny doesn't win, and in all likelihood, it will be in one of these tag matches. So I won't be surprised to be wrong if either Gallows or Anderson eats a pin here. But I feel like because it is their move, and they're actually getting Kenny in the ring on their weekly programming. It's not a pay-per-view or a semi-pay-per-view. I think it's probably going to be Omega and the Good Brothers pulling this one out.
Okay. John Smith, what do you think about the match?
I'm going the other way with it. I'm going Team Impact just because it's their first night on their new night. And, I feel like the Team Impact should look strong. And, I mean, even if they, win because they cheat, doesn't matter. I feel like they should get a win at some point, because Impact's been taking such a backseat to AEW in this rivalry. They just keep getting beat up, and I don't like it.
Well, it is a little weird, right? The Good Brothers are technically Impact guys, although they don't seem that way in the feud and everything. But do you have a favorite for who's going to take the pin then, John?
Probably Karl Anderson, because he always blames everything on the big man when he's the one that gets pinned.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was going to say. Is Karl Anderson, I think, takes the pin here. Travis is chiming in the comments. He's tuning in from the Baltimore airport. #dedicated. Thank you, sir. We'll be seeing him down. He's heading on his way down here to Florida, so for Mania. So it'll be good to have him here. But another thing on Impact this Thursday, nothing actually has been announced besides that one match. Although Trey and Sami Callihan might have a match against Triple XL. Sami was going to consult with Scott D'Amore about a possibility for this match. So let's just presume that we're going to have the match. John DeConnie, back to you. Trey and Sami going to have a match here that spins into Hardcore Justice or something of that nature?
Yeah, I'm wondering what the plan is here. Sami and Trey, like, I want to say Sami and Trey will they'll win here, and then Sami will get in his ear and be like, "See, you should follow me. You should do what I say. Come along with me." But it almost seems like it makes more sense for them to have some kind of disaster, so that then they get added head to head to the Hardcore Justice card. So I guess if I've got to make a pick for this potential match, give me Triple XL.
Okay. And then John Smith, as I line my eyes up perfect to look like a superhero in this. in this
What's his name from Star Trek?
I don't know.
Rainbow guy?
I was thinking Donatello. I don't know what you're thinking of from the Ninja Turtles, but yeah, Hardcore Justice sounds like a name of a show where we need a big Sami Callihan match. So one way or the other, John Smith, it seems like either Trey and Sami are going to have a tag match or they're going to be facing each other at Hardcore Justice. First, do you think we're going to get this tag match to Thursday? And if we do, who do you think is going to win?
I'd like to see it. I don't know who wins that because it's all leading up to Sami and Trey. The Triple XL is just garnish, but I'll go with Sami and Trey to win it for no reason at all.
Yeah. Plus, the back of your shirt says "I'm a Larry D guy," doesn't it?
Yeah, and Espanol because this is a Legado del Fantasma shirt.
So, yeah, I will. I'm going to go ahead and say they're going to have the match, and I'm going to pick Sami and Trey to fall apart, and Triple XL gets the win. So Hardcore Justice, though, that's this weekend. That's their next Impact Plus special. We have 2 matches announced. One is a Knockouts Championship match, and one is a Knockouts #1 contender match. The Knockouts Scramble Weapons match features Jordan Grace, Susan, Tennille Dashwood, Alicia Edwards, Havoc, and Rosemary on the graphic and in the description. They may add more women in, but given that situation, John Smith, I'll go back to you. What do you think in this weapons match?
I think my pick right now is Havoc because she just split up with Nevaeh, and she's the face, and I've got Deanna winning against Jazz later, so classic face heel matchup there. And I mean, unless they add more people on Thursday, then I might change my pick, but I'm going with Havoc.
Yeah, so John DeConnie, with that split with Havoc and Nevaeh, I was almost kind of thinking that Nevaeh might cost Havoc the champion or the opportunity here. What say you?
Yeah, if she winds up in this match, that might make me change, but I am right there with John Smith. When I look at the possible setups for who faces Deanna next, I really would like to see Havoc be that person, and I'm sure she's got a lot of frustration to get out and give her a weapon, and oh boy, that could be a lot of fun to watch. So give me Havoc, unless we get a few more people thrown in, that might change my opinion.
You guys have both showed your hand on the Knockouts Championship match here. But you know what? I'm going to pick Rosemary because the simple fact that nobody was more excited about this being a weapons match, all weapons legal, and she is known for using a gun. So I don't see how she can lose. So I'm going to pick Rosemary, and unless maybe Rosemary shoots somebody and Havoc, throws her out of the ring and takes the pin for the win or something. I don't know. Anyway, Rosemary's my pick. Let's move on to the career versus title match here. Jazz is putting her career on the line against Jordan. I have Jordan Grace in my notes. It's Deonna Purrazzo. Jazz versus Deonna Purrazzo for the Knockouts Championship. John DeConnie, we'll go with you on this.
Yeah, I think I may have said this last week, but it feels like, Jazz, as much as I enjoy her, this was obviously going to be a limited run. And when she kind of jumped at the opportunity for Ultimate Jeopardy to put her career on the line, this seems like the happy goodbye. Yeah, it's a title match. She'll do the old school thing of going out on her back and putting over the next generation. So I see Deonna retaining.
Yeah. John Smith, I assume you agree with that assessment. So since you're shaking your head, yes, build an argument for me that Jazz can win this match. What is the argument here? How is it possible?
The argument is Jazz somehow makes her tap out on Sunday, and then she loses it right back to her on Thursday. Okay. I think that's the only way that it happens is just like a dominant victory by Jazz where she just turns the title back over to Deonna or somebody else on Thursday.
Okay. John DeConnie, you have another option.
The other possibility, I think, is maybe because she's been so full of piss and vinegar, maybe Susan tries to get involved here because she's just so angry and accidentally hits Deanna with whatever she intends to hit Jazz with, and that winds up costing Deanna a pinfall.
We are seeing a little bit of twitching from Susan lately, so and she might get hit in the head with anything in the weapons match. So we'll have to see how that turns out. That's a possibility as well. All right, guys, that's been Impact Wrestling. Our next segment is going to be NXT UK, which means you guys get to take a quick break as I bring Gary in. John Smith, before I do, though, is there anything you want to say to Gary? Because I know he gets out of here pretty quick afterwards.
Well, I wore this shirt specifically for Gary. I let him know before. And then I also just want to say that Jordan Devlin is the Irish arse, not the Irish ace. So that's how I feel.
Okay. Well, let's hurry up and get you off the screen before Gary throws up. So thank you, John. See you guys back in a minute. All right, Gary, do you need to respond to that real quick?
He's let himself down by every time he opens his mouth. I don't need to respond. Just, it's obvious. He'll be eating several ton of humble pie at the end of this week when Jordan brings both belts home and we traipse around playing our borons and with our shillelaghs as we celebrate the Irish bringing it home.
You think this will be the best singles ladder match at TakeOver the best singles ladder match that we've had in years? Or can you think of any other great ones recently? Yeah,
I mean, it's a fairly good chance. I mean, it would have been a great match regardless. And when they put the ladder match, you know that they both, neither of the two of them will leave anything behind. They will step in, especially actually, I think Jordan, and I know obviously all the stuff with Jordan Devlin, but because he's going back across, will feel like he has something to prove, to go, okay, I was meant to be the champ. I was meant to be back and forward. Now I'm here. Let me show you why. And so he will step everything up again. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. And I am Camp Devlin. I show my hand now. So let's get into NXT UK. But we can't get into Prelude without first talking about Tommaso Ciampa getting a shot at that NXT UK championship at TakeOver. So, Gary, what's going on with Ciampa versus Walter on one night and Rampage Brown versus Walter on the next?
No, I would quite like Walter's air miles. I think if he's getting some sort of flight miles, it'd be great for him. I know. I mean, obviously, as you say, we've had Rampage and Walter built up for Thursday night, and now we've got Ciampa and Walter for Wednesday night. I think Walter goes over on Wednesday night. I don't think Tommaso wins the belt. We were funny as we were talking before we came on live, just to say, like, could it happen? What would go on? And it could. It would be great to see Tommaso over here, but I don't think it will. I think it'll be Walter will beat him. Literally will beat him. I think it's going to be one of those hard-hitting matches. We've seen what Walter and Ilya Dragunov was like. And I think we're going to get another one. And again, much as with Jordan Devlin looking like he's something to prove. I know in that the NXT press conference stuff this afternoon, I know Ciampa said that there was a bit of stuff back and forward, almost like he has something to prove to himself because of how he's been with his neck and everything over the last couple of years. This is him stepping up again to another big, proper main event against a proper big boy. So this will be interesting to watch it.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the match. I do have fears that it could be a short match. It's either going to be short or it's going to be great.
Yeah.
So I just can't figure out quite yet what it's going to be. So, but NXT UK Prelude, it's at the first of its name, I think, this particular show. We've got 3 matches announced. The first one we should talk about is the women's tag. There's a women's tag match here. Meiko Satomura and a returning Millie McKenzie versus Kaylee Ray and Isla Dawn.
I mean, I have to say, sorry, I know I almost stumbled over my words there. The women's roster in NXT UK is just immense. I mean, it would take on any of the rosters in WWE or any of the rosters anywhere around the world for talent. and I can't wait to see that. I do think that Meiko Satomura and Millie McKenzie will go over. I think they'll look to kind of make a big deal of Millie being back again for the first time in 2 years. But it was a nice move. Obviously, we talked last week about what we thought would happen with Isla Dawn and what would go on. I didn't see them necessarily pairing her and Kaylee Ray up just so quick, but the fact that they have is great, and it should make for a really, really good and really interesting tag match.
Now, Isla Dawn, it seems like getting a little bit of momentum behind her, but yet I'm kind of with you. I think Meiko and Millie are going to win this match, but Isla Dawn taking a pin right as we're starting to boost her up doesn't seem right either. So is it possible that Kaylee Ray takes the pin here to set up a match against maybe Isla Dawn for costing her the tag win, or against one of the other two? I mean, we just saw Meiko, so that probably isn't the case. But
yeah, I mean, it depends obviously where they want to go with it, because I had figured out that Aoife Valkyrie would probably be next for Kaylee Ray, but obviously we know she's not in the match. But I think what it would do is, if, for sake of argument, if Millie pins, Emilia pins Kaylee Ray, that it then sets that match up as well. That you could see her going, okay, I've just pinned the champ, I'm coming for you. And so you've almost got Aoife in the background, unbeaten, looking for a match. As you say, maybe Isla Dawn, if Kaylee blames her for not helping her out, you've got that coming up. You've got Millie in the background. They really are building up lots of stuff. Yeah, well, that's one thing. Whenever you and I talk about NXT UK, we talk about how these seeds are planted and they come back and they bear fruit 6 months down the road. So even if it's obviously only one person is going to get a title shot next, but seeds get planted for the next one, and the next one, and the next one. So okay, well, speaking of title opportunities, Tyler Bate and Noam Dar, they're in a Heritage Cup match, a British Rounds match, to determine the #1 contender for A-Kid's Heritage Cup. Man, Noam Dar. I don't. Let me see here. I have a graphic. I don't think Noam's had a match this year. Yeah, he's 0-0. No.
Tyler Bate undefeated this year. He lost it to A-Kid earlier, late last year. But what do you think? What do you think's going to happen here?
Well, as much as it pains me, I don't think Tyler Bate will be undefeated come the end of this match. I think that Noam's going to take it, whether it's Trent 7 turns or whether they make that a slow build thing or something like that. But I think that I could see Noam beating him, and then you've got the rematch of Noam against A-Kid coming. But I really just think the more that I see, we've said it before, and I've said to you, and I've said to Al, the more I see Noam Dar, every time he's on screen, that always means something. There's a point to everything that he does. And he is becoming, to me, more and more one of the absolute core building blocks of this brand. I mean, he really is. He's getting himself over more and more. He is a good wrestler. And again, he's another one with a point to prove almost, of saying he was main roster, now he's back over here. Okay, he will want to be the man on the brand. So,
is there any way to get a no contest in a British Rounds match?
No, I think if it goes to
right?
Yeah, because sudden death, if it's a draw, if it's 1-1 after the 5, it goes to sudden death. So somewhere down the line, it could be the first ever 24-hour match. They'll still be going on next year's takeover. They'll still be wrestling.
Well, yeah, WWE has programming going all weekend, so that's okay. They'll still be wrestling when WrestleMania starts. But the reason I brought that up is because Shaw Samuels and Trent Seven are going to be cornering these guys. So it kind of, like you said, maybe Trent turns or something like that. But it kind of makes me think there should be a tag match coming out of here too. So
yeah.
Okay, so then Walter and Rampage Brown. So this is the big one. Is Walter's title in the most jeopardy it's been in a long time?
I think so. I mean, he's had good matches, and I mean, he's had the stuff with Coffee, and he's the stuff with Dragunov, all the things that have gone on. But as I say, we've had Pete Dunne in the background, so on several months ago. But I think with Rampage coming in, they've looked to kind of set somebody up to be the new standard bearer, and that's why, to me, I think that if Walter beats Ciampa, well, as you say, whether it's short and quick and decisive or whether it's just a good win, if he beats Ciampa, then to me, I think Rampage beats him for the title, and then they make a really big deal of he just beat Tommaso Ciampa. Ciampa's one of the best, but we've just beaten him. And I actually think, and I've given them their props before, and I'll say it again, I think that for the Rampage Walter match, I think that Andy Shepherd and I've just Nigel McGuinness almost take a blank for a second on commentary will add heaps to that match. Yes. They really will completely, just as all good commentators should, they will help to build that so that when, to me, on the assumption that Rampage wins, they on commentary will build that up to being the biggest thing. So
I think this whole UK prelude, especially with the Walter and Rampage Brown match at the end, I think it's the sleeper show of the week, because I think, it's going to be the least hyped, but that match, that could be amazing. And if there's a title change, it's somewhat historic. It'd only be the third in brand history since 2016, 2018. I can't remember. Long time.
Yeah.
16, I think, right?
16. 16.
Yeah. So, all right, Gary. Well, that's NXT UK. Any parting words for John Smith before I bring him back in here?
As I say, I just hope that he has several packets of Kleenex nearby, so when he can cry, he can dry those tears when Jordan brings it home.
All right. Well, Team Jordan out. Thank you, Gary. Sorry for an abbreviated segment this week, but
no, you're all right.
So, all right. Thanks, Gary. We'll see you next time. All right. Gary goes out. Bring back in his arch nemesis, John Smith.
Hey, either way, that Kleenex is getting used after that match.
I mean, that's either going to be from you or from him?
No, I'm just going to be vague and leave it at that.
Okay. Thank you.
We're trying to stay PG-13.
Yes, I appreciate that. And I didn't put up my Walter and Rampage Brown graphic, but while it's still fresh in everybody's mind, they're both 2-0 this year. So you got two undefeated guys competing here, unless Ciampa beats Walter on TakeOver. So, all right, guys, are we ready to talk AEW Dynamite? Looks like we do. All right, let me switch the thing at the top. Take that off. There we go. Okay, so Mike Tyson's coming back this week, and the Inner Circle is got a advertised return this week. Last we saw Mike Tyson, he was getting into it with Jericho. So, guys, I guess the first thing I want to ask is Mike Tyson joining the Pinnacle? John Smith.
No, I don't believe so. I mean, Chris Jericho's a face now, and unless he's coming back as a heel, unless Tyson's coming in as a heel now, I don't think that's happening. I think they're just doing it because the NXT's got a big show this week, to be honest with you. Like, why is this happening now out of nowhere?
Yeah, I have to kind of agree that I think this is a little bit of hot shotting. It seems like it's the right time to bring you in. It's probably because we need to pop a rating somehow. So that's a possibility now. But John DeConnie, Mike Tyson is known for the long con. If we think about WrestleMania 14, right? He was a member of DX who betrayed them at Mania. And no real physicality to speak of really occurred with that Jericho segment months ago. So is it possible that, Jericho, he was just, Jericho had an ace up the sleeve?
It would be hilarious. It would take so much heat for, they're copying this. But couldn't you just see Tyson in a Pinnacle t-shirt, ripping it open at the end of the night to reveal an Inner Circle t-shirt and, helping out Jericho do, whatever unfolds throughout the show? Oh, God, did that make me laugh.
What better moment than Mike Tyson punching MJF in the mouth, right? Like, that's a huge pop. So we'll see. We'll see. If that happens, it won't be for a while. I don't think so. But as first speculated here on the Essential Wrestling Podcast. Okay, as mentioned, I'm going to kick over to the other 6-man tag match that we have featuring Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers. We have Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers facing off against Jon Moxley and the Young Bucks. So pulling double duty, this match actually occurs before the other one. So John DeConnie, I'll let you go. You pick first. What do you think?
I think here, home on Omega's home turf, if you will, I think this is where I'll go the other way and say maybe Karl Anderson eats a pin from Paradigm Shift from Mr. Moxley, and Moxley and the Bucks take the win here.
Okay. John Smith, the Young Bucks and Don Callis had a little exchange last week, and it looks like Don Callis might be in their heads. Do you think that maybe Kenny Omega loses, gets them to come over and Moxley stands alone with 5 people there?
No, I don't see that happening. But I do see Kenny and the Good Brothers winning the match somehow.
Okay.
Because I don't have them. I'm not going to have them lose twice. I got them losing the other one, so it's kind of the opposite of what John's saying.
Yeah, it's almost hard for me to imagine a situation where the Bucks get pinned, Moxley gets pinned, or Omega gets pinned. But I don't know, I'm not feeling the Good Brothers getting a pin here either, so taking a pin. So I'm thinking in my head, maybe the Good Brothers get a pin over the Young Bucks to set up a future tag title match. That's the best sense I can make of it. A few other matches on this card, all kind of interesting matches. Here we are, Easter week, right? We just had Easter on Sunday, and no better time than to bring Allie out. We have the Bunny versus Tay Conti, John Smith. We're all winners, but who do you think wins the match?
You got to go with Tay Conti here. She's riding the wave of momentum after beating Nyla Rose, so I'm going to give it to her.
But John DeConnie, the Bunny is sort of the lead female representative of the Hardy family office. And I guess Tay Conti technically has the Dark Order there. How do you see this match going?
I think Bunny busted out her maybe she's used it before. I don't really watch Dark or Elevation. Shame on me. But her down the rabbit hole move, I think it was, that she got a pin in that tag match last week or what have you. So why not put the Bunny over right after Easter?
That makes sense. However, Tay Conti in my mind is the winningest wrestler in AEW with as far as singles competition. She has more wins than anybody else. So I'm going to pick Tay Conti. I think she's on a roll. It does seem weird that we're pushing the Bunny in and then have her lose. So I'm a little bit doubting myself there, but that's what I'm thinking. Okay, John DeConnie, I'm going to stick with you. We have a TNT Championship match on this card. Darby Allin is going to defend against J.D. Drake. A lot of people probably seeing J.D. Drake for the first time. He's a big hoss type of guy, kind of like Trevor Murdoch, and I think Travis said a combination between Trevor Murdoch and Eugene. That's pretty okay, I guess. So it's a description, maybe with Festus in there too. What do you think? Do you think J.D. Drake has a chance here, and is he going to go the way of Eddie Kingston and Ricky Starks?
I think we'll see their own, even though Cody tried to take the moniker, I think Darby will continue to be the giant killer, and he will retain the team.
Yeah, Johnson, with any reason to think anything different in this match?
No, but I mean, they got to have one of these random guys win one of these matches at some point, because if they don't, then we're always just going to be like, okay, we know how this is going to end. Let's just hope it's a good match.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I hope it's a good match. Maybe this next one, and I'll go straight to you on this. We have dinosaurs and bears and everything else in AEW. This match is Jurassic Express, I believe represented by Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, versus Bear Country, Bear Bronson, Bear Boulder. Does Bear Country sneak out a win here and get them going?
This is like a true coin flip, I think. Yeah, I'll go with Bear Country because, like I always say, Lucha. What are their names again? Jungle. Oh my God.
Lucha Jungle Dinosaur Stunts. Jurassic Express, I think, is what they go by.
Jurassic Express. Oh my God. Like I haven't been covering them for over a year now. They don't need to win. They're always going to be over. They'll nobody will ever not take them seriously if they keep losing. So, let them put somebody over. Sure.
Okay. John DeConi, do you think, assuming the tandem is Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, which I think it is, do you feel the same, or do you feel that Jurassic Express is going to get the win here?
It would be easy to go with Jurassic Express here, but I think John's got a point. We're never going to not root for Jurassic Express. They got their fun new music. They got their extra, little leprechaun jumping around with them and whatnot that always makes us smile. As a Bears fan, why not have Bear Country pull out let this be that moment of the night that you go like, oh, hey, we actually have to watch some of these matches play out now. They're not all just going to go chalk.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'm going to go the other way, but I'm going to say it's because Marco Stunt's there. And the reason I think I'm saying that is, AEW loves a faction or a trio or something like that. So maybe Marco costs Bear Country the match, but then Bear Country gets an ally. So then we have a 6-man match coming up down the road. So, one thing has to build to the next, So that's where I'm going with this. I'm going to say Jurassic Express with the big assist from Marco Stunt. Word. That said, anything else on Dynamite, guys, that you want to talk about? John, we had a new faction birthed last week, and nothing could have made you happier, right? I mean, Cody Rhodes taking, Cody, Dustin getting all bloody.
Oh, yeah.
A pile driver. Anything jogging your memory? I know you were fast forwarding until the turn.
Yeah, well, when you said new faction, I was like, wait, we already talked about Pinnacle. But then I forgot because I always like to keep Cody not even in the back of my mind, but like out of my mind. So I wasn't thinking of Cody at all. But it was nice to see him get his ass kicked last week and by a bronze medalist.
Anthony
boxer.
Agogo. Yes.
Yeah, Agogo, which to see his name written down is just weird. Like it's fine to say, but when you just see a bunch of O's and G's on there, it doesn't seem real.
It is interesting. They, Anthony Agogo was their very first developmental talent signed. They signed him, and I guess they brought him over to Atlanta where he's been training ever since. But he is a credentialed boxer. He's a Olympic bronze medalist, and his was his first physical appearance on AEW programming. He has been commentating on Dark and Dynamite and stuff. He is a QT guy though, so it's not surprising that he did that turn with him. So good stuff. I look forward to seeing how that unfolds in the future. I know, John Smith, you could care less. All right. Well, are we ready for TakeOver or what?
Oh yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, that said, let me take down our nameplates. I'm gonna take down this thing, and that can only mean one thing.
We're naked.
We gotta run in.
Oh no.
Move it on over.
All right, so we are going to get into TakeOver. TakeOver is a too big for just one night, starting tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, the last Wednesday episode of the Wednesday Night Wars. They're going live night 1, 8 p.m. on USA Network. Tomorrow night, night 2, will be on the Peacock Network in an absolutely amazing exclusive night 2. NXT is going to kick things off for WrestleMania weekend. Here are the standings going into. I'm Brian. I am not sure if you threw this up there before you did your Hardcore Justice picks. But here are the standings going into NXT TakeOver starting tomorrow night. I have a very small lead over John DeConi. I believe that my math is correct. That is 11. Ryan is not too far behind. John Smith, even having the most wins or the second most wins out of everybody, is just not getting the correct matches right. Tyler, when he chimes in, he's not doing that bad, but he has hit the century mark in the loss column. So see if Tyler can make up some ground. Here are our NXT specific standings. John Smith, our senior NXT correspondent, completely on fire this season with his NXT picks. There's a reason why he gets paid the big bucks to report on this brand. I'm not too far behind him. John DeConnie not too far behind me. Ryan's right there as well. Tyler's probably missed a couple of shows, but that is okay. I know Tyler is a very, very, very busy man. And here's the scoring. The points are doubled for TakeOver. Since it is WrestleMania weekend, I'm going to double the points. It's going to be 10 points for the NXT Championship and the NXT UK Championship matches. They are the respective brand championships, so they get the 10 points. All the other titles get 6. Non-titles get 2. There are 2 interpromotional matches between NXT UK and NXT. So they will get a 3-point bump, one of them being the NXT UK Championship. So the perfect pay-per-view bonus will be 13 points due to Walter and Ciampa being a 10-point NXT UK title match along with the interpromotional goodness. So with that, we're going to kick things off, and we're going to do it with the NXT Tag Team Championship. The weird thing is, I wanted to do this one first. Here is the title history. The champions, there are no champions right now. The title is vacated. So some of this is a little bit of irrelevant that the champion is 14-10 with 14 title defenses in the TakeOver. But here's the funny thing. We haven't seen the NXT Tag Team Championships on a TakeOver since TakeOver Brooklyn when the Broserweights, Pete Dunne and Matt Riddle, back when Riddle had a first name, they defeated the Undisputed Era to become NXT Tag Team Champions. That was February 2019. The time before that, the last time there was successful title defense, the Street Profits were in NXT. They defeated the Undisputed Era in Toronto. So it has been a while since we've seen the NXT Tag Team Championship. The titles are currently vacated due to an injury from Danny Burch, separated his shoulder, unfortunately. Awful time. I feel bad for Danny and Oni missing this show due to injury. I hate to see that happen. I'm a firm believer that Oni Lorcan, he could have defended the titles by himself. If he's beating Karrion Kross and Finn Balor by himself, there's no reason why he couldn't defend these by himself now and win. So here are the 3 teams who are competing for the NXT Tag Team Championship at TakeOver. It will be night 1 tomorrow night. The 2021 Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic winners, MSK, that is Wesley, that is Nash Carter. They will be one of the 3 teams. They're 1-0 at TakeOver. The last time we saw them, that one win was against this team, Grizzled Young Veterans, in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. They are 0-1 at TakeOver. They are 1-2 overseas at UK TakeOvers. They were the first ever UK Tag Team Champions. That was the one win they had. They defeated Mustache Mountain in the tournament final to win the NXT UK Tag Team Championships. They had then lost twice in tag team title matches. And then the third team who got involved is Legado del Fantasma. Shout out to Raul Mendoza, who has been on the sidelines since competing in the Cruiserweight Classic in 2016. He is finally getting his chance at TakeOver along with Joaquin Wild representing Legado del Fantasma. So those are our participants. My personal pick, I have no choice. I don't think they're going to put it right back to MSK. I know with the Women's Tag Team Championships, they just gave the belt right to the Dusty Cup winners. I'm going to go with Grizzled Young Veterans. My shoes are off for Zach Gibson. Get it done, boys. John DeConnie, what do you think?
I am going to go with, Grizzled Young Veterans were the first team that jumped out at me because I thought it was almost too obvious that, well, they just won the Dusty Cup and, so you're not going to give it right to MSK. But then my thought was, all right, winning the Dusty Cup got them the title shot, so they were going to face Lorcan and Burch. Maybe that was the plan, was to put the titles on them anyway. So I was originally going to go with Grizzled Young Veterans, but I think I'm going to settle on MSK.
Okay. John Smith, what do you think?
Well, that's pretty convincing, but that's not that's really making me think now, because I was going definitely Grizzled Young Veterans, but yeah, what were they planning on doing with that MSK shot at the at Lorcan and Birch. But no, I'm going with Grizzled Young Veterans. My whole reasoning was because you don't like if they were just going to give them the MSK, they should have done it the way they did it with the Women's Championship because they already set a precedent that way. The titles were vacant, and they should have given it to the Dusty Cup winners. So that's basically the reason I think they're doing it is because they didn't want to do that.
Now you're wearing a Legado del Fantasma shirt. Nobody's picking Legado, it seems like here, fortunately. They are 4-1, GYV 4-2. So I'm picking MSK as well as in addition to John DeConnie. So I think we have a tie. So I don't know what we do in the case of a tie. I do know what we do in the case of a tie. We consult Tyler's picks, which I happen to have. Tyler is picking the Grizzled Young Veterans. So John DeConnie and I make up some points.
Maybe I should switch my pick then.
Yeah. Based on those statistics, Tyler has over 100 matches incorrectly. So I don't know if I picked that many matches. So. All right. Sorry, Tyler, we took a shot at you. That wasn't very nice. We're going to move on to our next match.
Okay, so the next match we're going to get to is actually, I guess, too big for just one night, I guess, if you want to put it that way. The NXT North American Championship will be defended in night 2. Let's just put this graphic up here. The NXT North American Champion 7-3 at TakeOver with 7 title defenses. The last time we saw Johnny Gargano got the job done against Kushida. The NXT North American Champion, they started off a little slow, but they have now successfully defended the championship 7 in the last 8 TakeOver matches. The only exception was when this man defeated Leon Ruff and Damian Priest to win the championship at War Games, and that is our current NXT North American Champion, 3-time champion Johnny Gargano. They call him Johnny Takeover, but it's almost the same as Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania. It's more about the performance than it is about the win-loss record. He's the all-time leader in appearances and losses and in singles competition losses in TakeOver history. 5-10 in championship matches. He's walked out, said that he's 1-2 as champion. That one win we just discussed right there on the bottom, he defended the North American Championship against Kushida at Vengeance Day. Now, with this, it gets a little complicated because Johnny, this is upsetting Johnny a lot. He does not know who his opponent's going to be on night 2. He's only going to have 24 hours notice because on night 1, there's going to be a battle royal to determine Johnny's challenge. There's going to be 6 guys in it coming off.
So I'm going to pause it right here. Al says battle royal several times. It's a gauntlet eliminator match. So let's just bear with him as he says battle royal several times. There was a battle royal.
Off the 12-man battle royal that's going to happen on NXT. This is taped, like I said, a little bit ahead of time. Not really sure who's in it. Not really sure who won the battle royal, who's going to be competing in night 1. But unfortunately, for me, this is easy. It all just stems to one guy, and that's the guy that Johnny's been going with for the past time now. This is the feud. So my call in the battle royal is Dexter Lumis, who is 1-0 in TakeOver history. This is his first championship match. His only match before this was that amazing strap match with Cameron Grimes at War Games. Absolutely incredible. These two had a non-title match back in February where Johnny, despite all the cheating and everything he tried to do, Dexter Lumis put him to sleep. And that's what I'm going to call again right now. I got Dexter Lumis, your new North American champion, the 9th ever North American champion in that title's short history. Sorry, Johnny. I think we would start back up on the L streak. John Smith, who do you got in the battle royal?
I got LA Knight in the battle royal.
You are correct, sir.
And for the gauntlet this week, I am going to go with Dexter Lumis as well. Yeah, it's all been leading up to this. Hopefully, we all thought that this was going to be happening, Lumis versus Gargano, without a gauntlet involved. But, give Lumis the victory there and then give him the victory in the other match, too, because I got him winning the title.
Yeah, Al didn't know who the outcome of that battle royal was, and that might have frustrated him. That's just why he said battle royal 100 times. But the Gauntlet Eliminator has L.A. Knight, Dexter Lumis, Isaiah Swerve Scott, Bronson Reed, Leon Ruff, and Cameron Grimes. They're not entering in that order, but I think Isaiah Swerve Scott and Leon Ruff are entering first. John DeConnie, who do you have? Who do you have?
I want to say that, tipping my hand for Thursday, that Johnny actually retains, just because, not to tip my hand with everything else. I have some belts changing hands here. And I got to the point where I was like, Jesus, is another one going to change hands? So I want to go with Bronson Reed to say that Johnny will find some way out of that. But I'm going to hedge my bet because I think that John Smith might be right. I'm going to go with Lumis here winning the gauntlet.
Now, John Smith, did you also pick Lumis winning over Gargano?
I did.
You did. And John DeConnie, are you saying Gargano over Lumis?
Yeah. Give me Gargano over. Whether it's maybe Austin Theory finally decides to, turn on Lumis, if you will, or not be consumed by his bromance with him, and actually helps Johnny the way he should, and Johnny finds a way to pull it out. Now, he may lose to him, the next week. I think it is. We are eventually going towards Lumis, but for some reason, I've got Gargano. It's just stuck in my head. Johnny retaining here.
Yeah. I picked Lumis to win and Gargano to retain. Tyler picked Lumis to win the Eliminator and Lumis to win. So, none of us picked anybody but Lumis to win. So, the gauntlet match. So, if he doesn't win, we all lose our perfect pay-per-view. So, all right, guys. Well, as I queue up, we are going to be transitioning to the NXT UK Championship.
Okay, so then I says wrecked him, damn near killed him. I'm sorry I got sidetracked there. That was a really long joke. I apologize. But we're going on to our next match, the NXT UK Championship match, interpromotional, 13 points on the line. Fun little history here with the NXT UK Championship at TakeOver. The champion is 0-2. And then if you do the math here, there have only been 2 title changes in this belt's history. So both times that we have crowned a new NXT UK champion, Pete Dunne defeated Tyler Bate to win the title at NXT TakeOver Chicago. And as you can see right here, Walter defeated Pete Dunne about a year and a half later at NXT New York WrestleMania weekend 2 years ago. So the only time history has ever been made with this title has been at TakeOver, with the exception of Tyler Bate winning the inaugural tournament back in 2018, I believe it was. But then at NXT UK, they're 3-0. Pete Dunne with the first win over Joe Coffey. Then Walter defeated Walter defeated Tyler Bate. And then Joe Coffey, that was the last one. Walter defeated Joe Coffey at NXT Blackpool 2. So here's our reigning longest ever NXT UK champion. We just passed the 2-year mark where he beat Pete Dunne. You can see right there, NXT TakeOver New York, which was on April 5th, 2019. That is his only TakeOver appearance. He's 2-0, as I just mentioned as well. And NXT UK TakeOver wins over Tyler Bate and Joe Coffey. So Walter is TakeOver tested, but not as tested as his challenger, Tommaso Ciampa, who was a modest 500 overall. But as you can see in singles competition, he's 5-3. A lot of those L's he took were with Johnny Gargano. So he's 4-5 in championship matches, 1-4 as the challenger. His only win came with Johnny Gargano as a member of DIY when they beat the Revival way back at NXT. I believe it was the first Toronto one. The last time we saw Tommaso Ciampa, he defeated Timothy Thatcher at War Games. Unfortunately, with the planning of everything that's going on right now, I am betting the ranch on Walter to defend. I'm going to be with Gary on this one for Walter to retain. Big match on Thursday. at Prelude, where I'll actually take Rampage Brown to become the champion. I think it's time for Walter. If he's stateside, let's keep him here for a little bit and let's see where we can go from here. But I got Walter retaining for the Big 13 match point value at TakeOver. Mainly it was a stand and deliver, right? Oh my God, I don't remember what TakeOver it is. So let's just put the official banner up there.
All right. Well, either the clip ended or I cut it too early. So, John Smith, why don't you weigh in, Walter or Tommaso Ciampa?
Yeah, I can't think of any way that Walter does not retain this title. I think maybe Thatcher comes down and does something on behalf of Walter to set up more Thatcher versus Ciampa feud going forward. Because as much as they have a bromance, I don't think that's lasting very long. It's not going to be like a full-fledged tag team. So yeah, I definitely got Walter winning, and yeah, let's look for Thatcher to make an appearance in this one.
The man with 3 H's says, "Greetings, gentlemen." So it's nice, always nice to get a shout out from Triple H on these shows, especially during our takeover discussion.
Time to play the game.
Well, so John DeConnie, I don't know. I watched that clip multiple times before I put it up. I don't recall Al getting cut off there at the end, but I haven't been able to catch up with that joke in the beginning either. So I'm not sure what's going on there. But Walter and Ciampa, and then I guess Walter and Rampage Brown, or Ciampa and Brown, or whatever you want to do. But give us your thoughts there.
Yeah, it would just be so. I think this match could be, as you mentioned with Gary, it could be very short. In which case, Walter, in a walkover, or it could be quite lengthy and steal the show. But I think either way, I think the big man retains. But I like the idea of this 700-plus-day reign coming to an end when he goes back home, even though we all know that's already been taped, blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, I could see him dropping it. I just don't think it's the Ciampa. I think it would more likely be to Rampage.
Imagine the situation where you taped the episode where you lost the belt, but yet you still have to carry it through the airport. That must be horrible feeling. I've picked Walter here. Tyler, I wish he was on the show so we could quiz him on this. Tyler has picked Ciampa. So, again, we'll just shake our hands at those 100 losses he has, I guess. So
yeah, I think Walter's got that title till at least 1,000 days.
Wow. It's a Bruno Sammartino era. Our guy, yeah. If he gets through Rampage Brown, he's going to have it forever. It seems like. I don't think they have anybody lined up to take him down. Okay, guys. Well, let's see. We're still in night 1 of TakeOver. By the way, we haven't even made it to night 2 yet. But we have another big singles match coming up.
Okay, so in a match that was made last Wednesday in the Eliminator Gauntlet, the Battle Royal qualifier, Pete Dunne and Kushida got into it. So shout out to John Smith. He correctly predicted this in his TakeOver prediction series that we've been doing the past couple weeks. Shout out to him. So let's just get right to it. Pete Dunne's been a seasoned veteran at TakeOver. This will be his 10th appearance. A little bit under 500, 5-4 overall, 2-3 singles competition. And then the last match, like you said, you look there at Vengeance Day, he challenged Finn Balor for the NXT Championship in an absolutely incredible match. Came up short, which is unfortunate. But Pete Dunne is now, he's starting to make these lists, these top 10 all-time lists in TakeOver history. Kushida's just starting out. He had his first TakeOver at Vengeance Day as well. He lost in a championship match. He challenged Johnny Gargano for the North American Championship. He came up short as well. So 2 guys coming off L's, going into, I believe it's night 1. Maybe kick off the show, start this party with a bang. Hashtag show stealer alert coming up. I am actually going to go with Kushida on this one. I think Pete Dunne can take losses here and there. No any respect for him. A lot of people had Kushida beating Gargano. So I think maybe this is a nice way to get his first TakeOver win. Get him into the action, going forward and start building him up for some sort of championship run, whether it be the Cruiserweight, North American, or maybe even a world title shot. Who knows? An NXT title shot. John Smith, what do you got here, pal?
I definitely got Pete Dunne winning this one because Kushida is much like the Jurassic Express, where he can keep losing and we will always root for him because he's that good.
Fair point. Fair point. It's the second time you've made that argument today. John DeConnie.
Yeah, I agree with John Smith that Pete Dunne takes this. I think, he's been doing a lot of chest thumping that he's the best wrestler in the world and how, I dare anyone to come prove me wrong. I guess I wouldn't be totally shocked to see Kushida be the one to do it, but I think Dunne stays around that top of the card there, and there's a win keeps him up there. And again, like Smith said, whatever they do with Kushida next, none of us are going to blink because we just love to watch him work. Give me Pete Dunne.
And don't rule out Pat McAfee making an appearance here too. Then maybe we could get some Kushida versus Pat McAfee moving forward. That'd be cool.
Yeah, and Oney Lorcan too, right? He's not doing anything since Birch is on the shelf, right? So he's got Pete Dunne has a group. So I've picked Pete Dunne. Tyler's picked Pete Dunne. Everybody has Pete Dunne except for Al. He is on an island, so we'll see. All right, but one other prediction I'm going to make, and it's kind of off color here, but I got to make this prediction because I've looked at all the matches for the whole week, and I think the one thing that I'm coming to the conclusion of is that I don't think anybody from New Jersey is going to win a match all week.
Wow, Ryan, that was such an outlandish pick. I can't believe you just made that pick right there. Absolutely unbelievable. I don't know what the hell you're thinking. You couldn't be more wrong. Anyway, moving on to our main event tonight, the prestigious NXT Women's Championship. And when I tell you prestigious, if you look at these numbers, 24-6 all time. A lot of those wins are Asuka and Shayna Baszler, and now Io Shirai as well. We'll get to her numbers in a second. The last time the title was successfully defended was at Vengeance Day. Io Shirai got the job done against Toni Storm and Mercedes Martinez. The NXT Women's Championship has been defended 9 out of the last 10 takeover matches, and the one loss was when Io Shirai won the title. So she defeated Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley at In Your House back in June. This is her first reign as NXT Women's Championship. She's 5-4 overall takeover, 5-2 in singles competition. She has 2 losses. She's been on the wrong side of War Games the past the 2 times they've done it. 4-2 in championship matches. She's 3-0 as champion. She's undefeated. So, like I said, the last time we saw her was at Vengeance Day. But mentioning War Games and staying with it, she actually took the L for Team Shotzi as Raquel Gonzalez did that one-armed power bomb thing that she does in between the metal, the diamond plate in between the rings to connect the 2 rings for War Games. So Raquel Gonzalez, she already has the big win, a pinfall over Io Shirai. Raquel Gonzalez, she's 2-1 at TakeOver, but she's never fought in a one-on-one singles competition match. She's never fought for a championship, although the last time we saw her and Dakota Kai won the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. So is it time for Io to get put up to the main? I guess that's the big question here. Whether or not Io gets bumped up to the main roster. I feel like Rhea just left. I don't think it's time to put Io up there yet. I think this is going to go the same route as Asuka. Io's going to eventually just relinquish the title for being too good and beating everybody in the division, leading the way for Sorry about your damn luck as the next potential Japanese superstar to come in.
So I'm pausing the video here. He's talking about LA Knight, right? Isn't he the one who says that? Or no, it's James Storm.
That's James Storm, but he said Sorry. Is there a guy named Sorry over there?
No, Sorry is coming. Sorry is coming in as the next Japanese.
Maybe that's who he means then. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but the James Storm joke was too good to pass up. All right, Al, back to you.
Ryan, I took the shot at you for making a bad pick. I hope you make a better pick on this one. Ryan, who do you got?
Apparently, Al did not like my pick on Jersey, I guess. So I have Raquel Gonzalez winning here. I know he picked Io Shirai. He set it up nicely. Talked about War Games and how she had these great moments in War Games. He didn't talk about those. but when she came off that cage, both with a trash can over her head and otherwise, I'm a Shirai guy till the end, but I think she's going to lose the title here and maybe move on. So, John Smith, how about you?
I think this is the hardest match to pick on the whole card over the 2 days. I will reserve the right to change my pick, but I'm going with Io. I've been calling for Raquel for months now to be the next one, and it just, I don't know, it just doesn't add up to me for some reason. She's almost been too dominant the past few weeks that it's just another obstacle for Io to overcome, it seems like.
John DeConnie?
I have flip-flopped on this match so many damn times in my head. And watching last week's NXT, I thought I had finally, what I thought was playing out in front of me, I had finally decided that Io was going to retain because she had attacked Raquel, 3 different times and gotten beat down. And I was like, okay, Raquel keeps getting the upper hand. It's going for, she's going to retain. And then she comes out for that last segment. She finally gets the upper hand. She loses her mind celebrating. And I said, are you doing this to me again? You're making me switch my pick again. The hell with it. I circled it in red pen. I've got Raquel, new champion. I'm going to change my mind 5 more times in my head. I'm saying it now, so I'm going to make the pick on the website. Put the points on Raquel, new champion.
Raquel Gonzalez, main event of night 1. So I think we're 50-50 on that again until we factor in Tyler's pick. And he has picked Io Shirai. So, and James Willer, he chimes in, also said he doesn't have a pick here, but it says if Io Shirai can pull it off, then he thinks either Xia Li or Taya Valkyrie / Frankie Monet takes the title from her. And guys, we didn't talk about this earlier because we didn't recap the last show, but the whole Frankie Monet thing, that's the name of the dog, right? That's what we're saying, right, John Smith?
I really hope so. I really don't want to be calling a chick Frankie for the next 5 years,
Yeah, well, I'm excited for Taya to make her debut. That'll be the Tuesday after WrestleMania. And
yeah, I remember that Xia Li thing is, now that I've been thinking more about it, Xia Li has overtaken Raquel in my mind as like the next champ,
Really?
Yeah, because they're making her out to be like more dominant than Asuka was. So, I think that eventually she's just going to kick Io's head off in 5 minutes and win a short match.
I guess maybe it depends on where the expansion is next. Are we going to get NXT Japan or NXT China? If it's NXT China, you want Xia Li as your champ. John, did you have another point on DeConnie?
Just about Frankie, calling a chick Frankie for the next 5 years. Remember, according to Dreamer, her sentence is probably 2 years with an option for a third.
and he would know. He would definitely know.
Changes you, man.
Well, we already talked about this match, but I made a graphic, so I wanted to put it up. So we got Johnny Gargano versus, I guess, Dexter Lumis is who we've all determined it's going to be. So there you have it. But coming up after that, we do have the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. And I'm sure Al will tell us that right now.
All right, so we have brand new titles that was recently announced a couple weeks ago, and they're going to be making their TakeOver debut this week. The NXT Women's Tag Team Championships will be on the line for the first time ever. Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon, they are our current champions as their first reign. They won the titles from Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez the night the titles were born. They're 0-1 at TakeOver, though. They lost the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic final at Vengeance Day against Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. So they are 0-1 as a team. Ember Moon has had a very extensive TakeOver career, even though in a losing effort. She's 0-2 since her comeback, losing War Games and then the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic final. So she's had her big championship wins in recent years. Shotzi Blackheart 1-2 as well. They're going to be challenged, by the way, They wanted to do things on their time, on their stage, and this is their stage. So Indy Hartwell will be making her NXT TakeOver debut. Candice LeRae, she's 2-3 in TakeOver history. Both of her wins came as a result in victories at War Games. So where do we go with this? I know the old adages. Let's go through their history real quick first. Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. They defeated The Way in the semifinals of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. And then they defeated them again. I believe it was the NXT after TakeOver Vengeance Day. And they got distracted by the freedom of Austin Theory. Candice LeRae kind of left Indy Hartwell hung out to dry. So Shotzi and Ember got 2 wins over The Way so far. And as we all know, it is tough to beat a team 3 times in the same season. But John Smith, I am not going to steal your thunder here. When you gave me your card for NXT TakeOver and you put in parentheses what's going to be happening in this match, I completely agreed. I completely excited for it. So I am just going to keep my mouth shut with my reasoning. I'm taking Ember and Shotzi. John Smith, I'm not going to steal your thunder. Take it away. Why are we picking this match?
I have no idea what he's talking about. No, I'm just kidding. I've got Tegan Knox coming back after all this time. Candice LeRae, after all, was the one who put her out of action, out of commission. So yeah, I've got I got Shotzi and Ember winning, whether they win clean or whether they win because Tegan comes out. I think Tegan's coming out at some point before, during, or after the match to get her revenge on Candice.
Yeah, that's a very interesting set of circumstances there. So, John DeConnie, I believe you called for a Gargano retaining the North American Championship. Is it possible that the gold is consolidated into The Way here?
I have bet on Gargano's sweeping probably 4 different times. That wasn't always for belts, but and I've never been right. So I'm going to go away from it here and say that Shotzi and Ember retain, and I will probably be right that it'll be a split, but I will have gotten them backwards.
So now I've picked Ember and Shotzi as well. But here will be my reasoning for future storyline if they were to lose the titles. We'll say Candice and Indy have titles. Johnny Gargano has titles. What does that? How do you think Austin Theory feels in that equation? If the Garganos all have titles and he's sitting there without one, I think that sets up some interesting storylines or at least some fun Gargano home movies for us to watch. So that'll be my only way to figure. That's how I'll figure that'll work if that happens. So Tyler picks Ember and Shotzi as well.
Theory trying to go after Cross because that's the only belt left to go after would be really funny.
Oh my God. I might change my pick now. I might change my pick in the hope that we get that Karrion Kross versus Austin Theory match. I think that'll be spectacular. We have talked extensively about the ladder match already on this show, and obviously that we knew that was going to happen with you, John Smith and Gary firing shots back and forth. But we need to let Al have his say in the matter, of course. So let's bring up his video on the ladder match.
Okay, now this is probably the most anticipated match in my eyes. This has been brewing with Gary and with John Smith for weeks now. Who is the true Cruiserweight champion? We have been waiting.
Which, by the way, it's not John Smith or Gary. That's not the Cruiserweight champion, the true Cruiserweight champion.
I don't think I would make weight.
And I know I wouldn't. So. All right, back to Al.
For this match, ever since NXT UK started back up again. So let's just get right to it. I don't even know how you're supposed to score this. The NXT Cruiserweight Championship only been defended once in TakeOver history. That was at TakeOver 31, where Santos Escobar, he defeated Isaiah Swerve Scott to defend the title. So it's a short title history here in TakeOver. Santos won the championship when the title was maybe we thought was vacated NXT UK got paused with the pandemic, so it was overseas with Jordan. They held a tournament. Santos Escobar back when he was El Hijo de Fantasma, which of course translates to the Hijo of Fantasma. Now, what Hijo means, I have absolutely no idea. I guess I missed that on the SATs, but
I'm pretty sure it means the sun.
Well, he was kidding. He just pronounced it in English.
Santos Escobar after he beat Drake Maverick in the tournament and then proceeded to beat the crap out of him afterwards, aligning themselves with Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde, and that is a faction that we all know and love today. But then here's the Cruiserweight Champion. Once NXT UK started back up, the belt never left Jordan. Jordan won a fatal four-way back at Worlds Collide last January. Angel Gara was the champion. Travis Banks was also in the match. I forget who the third might have been. Isaiah Swerve Scott was also in the match. Absolutely incredible match. This will be Jordan Devlin's first stateside takeover. He's 0-2 overseas. He lost to Tyler Blade at back NXT takeover Blackpool 2 at Blackpool 1. He unfortunately got snuck by Finn Balor. So, takeover hasn't really been too kind for Jordan Devlin. This is a toss-up. We could go either way here. My heart, my love, my soul is with Jordan Devlin. My mother is, again, 100% Irish. I want to go with him. Don't tell her I'm betting against Ireland here, but I am going with Santos Escobar. I'm with John Smith on this one, Gary. I am so sorry. I just don't see I don't see the belt going back over there. All the cruiserweights are here, and Jordan is now fighting guys like Dave Mastiff, and he's making guys like Trent Seven bust their hump to make weight for this. I don't think there's any reason to bring the belt back overseas, and I feel like Jordan's not done over there. I think Jordan's going to be a future NXT UK champion. So I am going to stick with I'm going to go with John Smith on this one and take Santos Escobar. John Smith, agree with me now.
Yeah, I am not going to agree with John Smith, apparently. I know this is going to be a big shock to you guys, but this is for points, man. This is a double championship match. I think Santos loses this match, and it won't make him look weak either because he's not getting his shoulders pinned in the mat. I think Devlin is staying stateside, and he's going to stay as cruiserweight champion. And I like to see Escobar be the first program that Karrion Kross works as champion coming up.
So it's interesting that you and Al kind of have the same logic that you're putting forward for the opposite guy, right? Because Al's logic is Devlin loses the title so he can go back to the UK and wrestle for the big belt over there. Yours is like Escobar loses the title so he can wrestle for the big belt stateside. So it's very interesting that you have chosen to go with your.
I know. I will be rooting for Escobar. I want Escobar to win, but I can't go. I can't take him in this match. It's just I feel like it's got Devlin written all over it.
All right. So here's the score so far. We know Gary has Devlin. John Smith has Devlin.
Shocker.
Al has Escobar. I have Devlin. John DeConnie?
I'm going to go with Devlin as well. I think, like John Smith said, I think Escobar, there are bigger things ahead for Escobar. I think he's got the body style that he can, like they do in Japan, just put on a little more rip and, suddenly he's very believable fighting against the bigger guys and whatnot. And he's got the whole group to go with him. So and again, John Smith made the great point that you don't really look weak when you lose a ladder match. So he doesn't really have to take much of a hit to any kind of role he's on. And him and the Legatos can roll right into the next storyline with, he might complain and blow it off, this, that, and the other thing a little bit. But I think Devlin reminds me more of what a cruiserweight champion should look like. And like John Smith said, yes, they're all over here, like Al said, but like John Smith said, he can just stay here and run through them for a little while. So
I think if Gary was on the show, this is what he would call a backhanded compliment, right? Like you picked his guy to win, but for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, because his guy is down here, and Legato belongs up here.
You want him to move on.
Yeah.
James Wheeler chiming in with an agreement. So lots of people picking Devlin here. This is twice that Al's been out on an island, right? He picked Kushida while everybody else picked Dunn. He picked Escobar. Everybody else picked Devlin, which was a shocker to me. I think you actually told me that last week on the Daily Wrestling News Show that you were going to pick that way, John. But for some reason, it didn't register at all. So,
like I said, I will gladly lose these points.
Yeah.
If he's up there holding both those belts, I don't care about these points.
Well, we have 2 more matches on TakeOver. They are considered the co-main event of night 2. I'm going to assume the championship goes on last. So that means we have to transition to the unsanctioned match now.
So the Undisputed Era is now officially done. As we know, Cole and O'Reilly, they've been going at it. Roddy Strong told them all, both of them to go to hell. Bobby Fish has been sitting around injured. Maybe Bobby Fish comes back. Maybe we'll see him at TakeOver to help out maybe Kyle O'Reilly or maybe Adam Cole. Who knows? But we have an unsanctioned match, which is different than the non-sanctioned Lights Out match. It is unsanctioned, which is completely different. And I'm pretty sure, as we remember making the jokes, NXT is going to go Motel 6 and leave the lights on for these guys. So first things first, we're going to go Adam Cole, Bebe, one of the all-time leaders in TakeOver wins in history. I believe he's definitely top 5, if not top 3, in both overall record and in singles competition. The last time we saw him, there you go, he was a member of the Undisputed Era winning War Games. Along with his opponent, Kyle O'Reilly. He was on that team as well. So we haven't seen these guys since War Games, but here's what sticks out to me about Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle O'Reilly is the all-time winningest team competitor in TakeOver history. As you can see, if you do the math there, he's 6-6. Those 6 wins are the most in team competition in TakeOver history. He's only fought in 1 singles match in TakeOver history. The loss to Finn Balor at TakeOver 31. Absolutely incredible match. These 2 are going to go at it. I don't see any reason. Like I said, maybe Bobby Fish gets involved. Maybe that's how Adam Cole sneaks in the win here. Maybe he screws over Kyle and we go right from Kyle to a feud with Bobby, which would be a lot of fun. I'm going to go Kyle O'Reilly, though. I think this whole thing is set up. It's kind of almost like what Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens did last year at WrestleMania. Everything just seems to be so one-sided and so obvious that Adam Cole should win this. That I think Kyle O'Reilly, he's been sleeping better at night, right? So he's probably got a lot more rest now going into this match. I'm going to go with KOR. John DeConnie, who do you got?
Okay, so I believe I agree with Al that Kyle O'Reilly will win for exactly those reasons. That this whole dispute between the two has it's been pointed out ad nauseum that O'Reilly has failed. He's put on some amazing matches, but he hasn't come out with any wins. So I think the best story to tell here is, the former leader goes against the former, okay, they kind of were all on the same level, but, Cole was the leader of that faction, no 2 ways about it. And he's the one kind of down-talking O'Reilly and pointing out his failures. It just makes sense that O'Reilly comes out on top here and we get that feel-good moment.
Okay. John Smith?
Yeah, I'm pretty much on the same page. A win does pretty much nothing for Adam Cole, and a loss really kills Kyle O'Reilly. So I think Kyle O'Reilly's winning this one.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. And for everything that you said, all of you said, plus the fact that Tyler has picked Adam Cole. So we'll go with Kyle O'Reilly in the unsanctioned match. So, all right, guys. Well, that brings us to the final match of TakeOver. Now, don't worry, we still have SmackDown to talk about afterwards. We got the Andre the Giant Battle Royal and a big tag team title match. So we got more work to do. But this is our final match on TakeOver. This is shaping up to be maybe the best TakeOver of all time. It's certainly the biggest one of all time. And the biggest week in probably WWE's history in terms of amount of programming. So let's get into it. It's Finn Balor versus Karrion Kross for the NXT Championship. Al has a whole thing here that we're going to get into right now.
All right, so the last thing we're going to discuss, it all comes down to this. The main event of night 2 for the NXT Championship. We have a reigning 2-time champion. We have a former champion who had to relinquish the title due to injury. A lot of story here. They've just been waiting to put this match. Finn Balor asked the question, what took you so long? And the reason why it took so long is because they wanted to save it for this show, right? So here's the NXT Championship history. 18-11-1 with 19 title defenses. That one no contest was Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn way back in the day. I think Kevin Owens ended up walking in and out as champion. Maybe it was Sami. I don't remember. Kevin Owens won the feud, though, before Sami got called up or injured, to tell you the truth. Anyway, I digress. The last successful title defense, Finn Balor defeated Pete Dunne at Vengeance Day. NXT champion has defended 5 of the last 6 TakeOver matches. So there's a little bit of a streak there, too. A little bit of a streak with all these championships. But right there is the 5 of the last 6. That one loss was this man, Karrion Kross, who defeated Keith Lee that night, but then was injured during the match, had to relinquish the championship right away, something that our current champion can relate with. So Karrion Kross is 2-0 at TakeOver, 1-0 in championship matches. Like I said, he defeated Keith Lee at TakeOver 30. So I believe he beat he put down Tommaso Ciampa in his other TakeOver match in pretty quick fashion, if I remember correctly. That was dominating. So he's going to go up against our reigning and defending 2-time NXT champion. Going back to Karrion Kross, if he wins, he's going to join an exclusive club that Finn Balor is a part of with Samoa Joe and Shinsuke Nakamura as the only 2-time heavyweight champions in NXT history. Finn Balor holds all the records here. He is Joe Takeover. 14-1 overall, 11 in singles competition, 5-1 in championship matches. The only loss he has was when he challenged Samoa Joe and lost at NXT TakeOver the end, and that was specifically named for him. He's going to put over Samoa Joe one last time before he went up to the main roster to win the Universal Championship and the big plans that were originally slated for him. So you have one guy on the one hand who's pretty much unstoppable as a whole. Then you have one guy who was just flat out pretty much unbeatable at TakeOver. So the only loss that he took was, when you go out on your back. And Finn Balor's not going out. He's not getting called back up, I don't think, at the end of this. I'm sitting here right now struggling. I just don't know. This could legitimately go either way. But I'm going to go with John Smith on this one. I know he's a huge Karrion Kross guy. Again, Finn Balor being, from Ireland, my mother, I'm going against both guys from Ireland today, and I don't like it. But I just don't see Santos or Karrion Kross. You might as well. I mean, what happens if you lose? Maybe this was the other way around, and Kross was champ this whole entire time. Maybe Balor gets the win. I don't know. But this was been too long in the making. Give Kross the belt back. And let's see what he can do with a legitimate title run. John Smith, I know you're going to agree with me. John DeConnie, how do you feel about this one?
Okay. On a 10-match, double-decker card here, there's not an easy match to pick, really, in the whole 2 nights. This is the one I probably feel most settled about. Just because I feel like, no disrespect to Finn, but, they had plans for Kross and they got cut short because of the injury. So putting the belt back on him makes sense. Once again, there's no match that I feel is a slam dunk on either night here. So I would not be surprised to be wrong, but I'm going with Karrion Kross because I just feel like whatever program they had built up for him is still waiting to unfold for us. So it makes a lot of sense here to see the title change hands. Karrion Kross, new champion.
John Smith?
Well, I'm still butthurt over him getting the title stripped away from him in the first place, and then Finn Balor getting to keep his for 2 months while he was hurt. But I digress because it will all be rectified in 2 nights, and Karrion Kross will win this match. And Al brought up a good point that I was going to bring up, and it's that I'm pretty sure Finn Balor will be beating Karrion Kross for this title after like a 7-month reign if if everything had went according to plan. But it didn't, and this is what we're getting. And I'm not 100%, but I'm about 98% that Karrion Kross is coming out with that title.
So I picked Kross. Tyler picked Kross. Everybody's picked Kross. What is the scenario? And John DeConnie, I'll flip this to you. How does Finn Balor beat the odds here? What's the story that gets us there?
My God, I don't, I don't really see, I don't see why. I just think Kross is too much of a destroyer. I mean, unless he works his shoulder the whole time and they gimmick a re-injury of that shoulder and then he gets him to tap or something crazy like that, or pass out or something like that. But it's too easy to write in that Finn has had, the problems with his jaw, so therefore the skull in general. And Kross's finishing move is a forearm shiver to the back of the skull. It's just too easy to see the lights going out on Balor.
I'll bring up something else up. Here's another opportunity. Perhaps the sins of Karrion Kross's past come back to haunt him. Maybe T-Bar, maybe Keith Lee. They're not doing anything else this week, so maybe they just show up and, help Finn Balor get a win here. I don't know. I'm stretching, but those guys, like I said, they're not doing anything that I know of this week, so they're available.
Yeah, if Vince was booking this, Fowler would stomp him twice, and it would be 1, 2, 3. But luckily, it's Hunter booking this, so I think it's going to go the way it's supposed to.
Yeah, I think, like I said, everybody's stretching to figure out a way for Finn to win this. So, so it seems like Kross is the answer here. Okay, well, that's Takeover Stand and Deliver. Going to be a heck of a show. And we still have SmackDown yet to go to talk about. We have 2 matches plus a talk segment, I guess. Let's start with the talking here. Edge, Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, we get to hear from them. They get to say their final word before WrestleMania. I don't know, guys, do you think there's anything kind of groundbreaking these guys are going to say? Any big changes to the match or anything like that? Any big purpose to this, or is it just a final hype before Mania? John Smith?
I'm going to go with the latter on those 2 options. It's just, they have to put a show on Friday night before WrestleMania, so they're giving us just a 3-way interview between them.
Right. All right. John DeConnie, anything to add?
Yeah, just that, I guess I forgot just how good Edge is on the mic, so maybe he'll give us one more, dazzling promo before we go home to the big show on Sunday.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything major coming out of this, so let's just move on to the big 4-way tag title match.
Now, a match that we all thought maybe would have least made the kickoff show at WrestleMania. Match, the tag team division has been in disarray on SmackDown. Every team's beating each other. It's been a lot of fun. Alpha Academy I don't think has actually had any losses coming up. They've been kind of taking control of everything, but we have Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode. They're going to be defending the SmackDown Tag Team Championships in a fatal 4-team match. Not sure if it's elimination or if it's a 1-fall finish. Not exactly sure if they announced that or not. Going against Alpha Academy, the Street Profits, and the Mysterios. So, like I said, everyone's been beating each other. The Mysterios, huge win over the Street Profits. The Street Profits kind of have a tag team title rematch somewhat in their back pocket. Sonya Deville promised them that a couple months ago. But I'm actually going to go, if there was points on the line, if it was WrestleMania, I would have picked Ziggler and Roode. I'll be honest with that. I'm big Dolph Ziggler fan and Robert Roode. I like the 2 of them together. I would have liked to have had them, get the win as a team and the title defense down in the record books at WrestleMania, but it's not. So we actually have a once-in-a-lifetime thing here. Father and son going for the tag team championships. I'm not exactly sure you're going to have many opportunities to do this, whether it's the Mysterios or another family down the line. They are the Griffies of pro wrestling. Reminded when Ken Sr. and Ken Jr. hit back-to-back home runs for the Mariners. We got a once-in-a-lifetime shot here, so I'm going to pick that just for the sentimental value. Then maybe down the line, the Alpha Academy will take it from them, and they can get their start going. So, John DeConnie, what do you got on this one?
Well, I wasn't entirely sure because this is almost being treated like a pre-show, so I thought points were going to be on the line. So that lifted so much weight off my shoulders to hear Al say that this isn't for points. So while I think that that's a heck of a story to tell with the Mysterios winning, I just think because spoiler, I've got the other tag titles flipping. I think someone's got to retain somewhere along the way here, so I'm going to go with the Dirty Dogs retaining.
Okay. Well, John Smith.
I like the Alpha Academy to win this one, actually, and I like what Al's thinking with the Mysterios, but if they were going to do that, I think they would have put this match on WrestleMania because then that would have been their WrestleMania moment as a father-son duo. So I think if they are ever going to win those titles, it's not going to be tomorrow or this Friday. It'll either be like at another WrestleMania or maybe at like SummerSlam or something.
Yeah. I also picked the Alpha Academy, and I'm like, poor Otis couldn't get it done with Tucker, I guess. That was not meant to be. But I really like Otis, and I think he's great with Chad Gable. I think this is the best stuff Gable's done in a long, long time. He's kind of like this weird heel position. I think I'm there. Alpha Academy. That's my pick. So we're almost completely split. John and I are on the same boat there. James Wheeler chiming in. Save these comments right here for our WrestleMania special this weekend. Billy Kay and Carmella, although not announced for the tag team turmoil match, certain to be a potential team to be added. Maybe they'll get added this week. Okay, final match of the show. Only one thing left to talk about, and it is the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
All right, so once again on the SmackDown edition, the WrestleMania edition, going into WrestleMania weekend, they're doing the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Normally an event held most times on the kickoff show. There were 2 times where they were on the main card. Let's just go a quick glimpse through history here. The past winners of this Battle Royal, they did not have it last year due to the pandemic circumstances. Didn't want that many people in the ring next to each other. That made sense. The year before that, Braun Strowman got the win, last eliminating the Weekend Update correspondence from Saturday Night Live. That was fun. Matt Hardy won at 34 with help from Bray Wyatt. Mojo Rawley won at WrestleMania 33 with help from Rob Gronkowski. The answer to the trivia question, who was the first NXT superstar to win a match at WrestleMania on the main card? Your answer is Baron Corbin. The Big Show won at WrestleMania 31, and of course we all know the first ever winner of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal was Cesaro back at WrestleMania 30. So they announced this. They gave us the participants on WWE.com. Looking those over, here we got in my final 4. The guys I have lasting at the end of the final 4 is usually the bonus points at WrestleMania. No points on the line on this one since it's on SmackDown. But I'm going to go Baron Corbin again. We just mentioned him. Usually the past winners, sometimes they're there at the end. Baron Corbin won, like I said before, and then I think he placed in the final 4 the year that Matt Hardy won at WrestleMania 34. Give me Shinsuke Nakamura. Why not? He's you look at that list, his name kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. He can potentially win it. I have him in the final 4. Main event, Jey Uso. He is another obvious pick. I'm going to go with a little bit of an underdog here. Haven't done much with Ricochet, so we are going to do that. We are going to have Ricochet winning as my pick for the Andre the Giant, the WrestleMania 37 2021 winner. Give me Ricochet. Get him kickstarted with something. I think he could really kind of use this win, to put next to his name, next to that U.S. title win on his graphic. John Smith, as our resident Andre the Giant enthusiast, this is the Battle Royal after your boy Who are you taking in this one, pal?
There will be no survivors.
Here's your graphic to show you who's in it, in case you need it.
Yeah, I think I had seen a list. Yeah, this looks about right. Yeah, I mean, if Andre was in it, I'd be picking Andre, but I'll take. I'm going with Nakamura on this one. I think it's kind of his consolation prize for not being part of Mania and also having to lay down to Seth Rollins a couple times the past month or so.
Nakamura, I like that as a pick. I think he's he's underrated in the WWE locker room. John DeConnie, who you got?
Yeah, I thought we were going to have to – these were for points, so I thought we were going to have to pick our final four. And I started getting a little weirded out. You know, you guys busted my chops when I kind of went out of nowhere and wound up agreeing with Al not too long ago on one of these pay-per-views. And as he's reading, I got Corbin in my final four. I got main event Jey Uso in my final four. I got Shinsuke in my final four. And then he said he's picking an underdog. And I went, you got to be kidding me. He went with Ricochet. Just for S's and G's, I'm going with Mustafa Ali.
Okay. So we have a Ricochet pick. We have a Shinsuke pick. We got a Mustafa Ali pick. I don't have any picks from Tyler, and I don't have James Wheeler hasn't chimed in yet, so I don't know who he's picking. But I am picking another perhaps underdog. I'm picking T-Bar. I think that's like out of nowhere. And, they just split up Retribution. And I think, maybe he's a great big guy. It's not unprecedented that people have a big win to kind of kickstart their career in this match, like Mojo Rawley.
Do you think there's an unmasking involved?
I hope so. I think that, and I'm not, perhaps Keith Lee gets involved in this match. So these people that are here are the announced participants. Mace is up there in the corner. The stand and deliver graphic is still in front of him, but pull that down. But yeah, I like T-Bar in this. I think it's a possibility that we get something going with him. And I bring up Keith Lee only because he's not announced anywhere, and he could be a nice little surprise for Friday night. So,
what about Sheamus?
Sheamus has got Riddle at Mania.
Oh yeah. Duh.
So we're okay with him. And we have just a couple of minutes here, guys. This is the end here for as far as SmackDown goes. But in terms of Mania, the names that we don't have are Charlotte and Bayley. What are we doing with Charlotte, Bayley, and of course Keith Lee? I just mentioned. John Smith, any thoughts on Charlotte and Bayley for this Mania?
No, I'm kind of bummed that Bayley's not going to be around, but if it means that Charlotte's not going to be around too, then I'm all for it because I think she's the most overrated thing in women's wrestling for the past ever. I think she's just average. She looks like she's doing a gymnastics routine when she's out there, in my opinion. So I'm very happy to see that Charlotte's not involved, but I think that means that she's going to be involved in a major way, but it's going to be some sort of WrestleMania moment with some sort of interference somewhere that you're not expecting or something like that.
Yeah, and I made the point that maybe they're keeping her aside as an alternate too at this point because, with COVID and everything else, people could fail a test right at the end and maybe they need an alternate.
But how do you do that? Well, she's money, though, in their mind. So how are you going to take one of your money wrestlers and just be like, oh, just in case, we're going to keep you off to the side?
Well, they did that with Strowman last year, right? And then they plugged him in at the very end. So
they say that, but they probably just didn't have anything for him last year, I think.
Oh, no, they didn't say that. I'm saying that. I think they had him set aside as an alternate, and that's what they did with it. But John DeConnie, any thoughts on the Charlotte Bayley thing?
Yeah, I mean, unless last minute, they do some kind of cute thing backstage where both of them show up, to the building and find out they're not on the card, and then they just say, hell with it, you two team together, and they throw them in the tag team turmoil. Short of that, I don't know what's going on here. So it'll be odd to see both of them miss it, but I assume then one of them will show up the very next show, depending on which champion they go after, and go after a new champion, let's say.
Right. Well, with that said, WrestleMania show this weekend. This is our go home segment for the Essential Wrestling Podcast. We're getting ready for Mania. Al is going to send us home.
Word.
Okay, so it is WrestleMania week, as we've been saying all show long. I am down to number 2 on my all-time favorite WrestleMania matches in history. I counted down from 30. Right now, I'm at number 2. Number 1, I'm going to reveal on the WrestleMania special this Saturday at noon. But coming in at number 2, and probably it shocked me. This guy is my second favorite wrestler of all time. I did not give him a chance in this match, and I am embarrassed. I am so sorry. But Christian defeating Chris Jericho at WrestleMania 20. Absolutely unreal. The feud started where they made a bet for $1 Canadian. Emphasize again, $1 Canadian. Or who could score first, Jericho with Trish or Christian with Lita. And then Jericho ended up falling for Trish in the long run. She got pissed. The whole thing was just, these two are idiots, and it was absolutely incredible. So they had the match at WrestleMania. Christian, he got the win. Here's the most important thing. He got the win before the Trish heel turn, and she ended up going to Christian. So not only did he get the win over Chris Jericho, the first ever undisputed champion, the guy who just wrestled Shawn Michaels the year before in an absolutely 5-star thriller, Christian got the win. He got the girl at the end. He was making out with her at the top of the stage. It was, oh my God, I couldn't have been more proud of my guy Christian for winning that match. So that is my number 2, my second favorite WrestleMania match of all time for WrestleMania 20. And, despite the stories and the hilarity of these two, the heels they were before Jericho turned face and whatnot, like this was an absolutely incredible match when you put two best friends in there together, similar to what hopefully Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens will be doing at WrestleMania. It's just going to absolutely shine. So with that, I'm going to give Ryan a little bit of some time to gather himself. I'm going to do the closing promotions as well. Might as well. This was all being taped. I might as well just do my job while I have the camera rolling here. The Primetime Rundown, powered by StreamYard, will be airing at 6 p.m. on Friday nights. Join Joey Jarzenka, Ian Schreier, and Rob DeLuca as they take you through the wide world of sports right here on all of the Eastern Observer platforms. Please make sure you go to the easternobserver.com for more information. The Daily Wrestling News Show airs on Mondays through Thursdays, and this week will be on Friday at 10 a.m. Get your morning cup of joy in with Ryan and his band of merry co-hosts right here on all the Eastern Observer platforms. I believe it is WrestleMania week this week. Ryan is taking the week off. He is busy. He's got about 5,000 indie shows to go to this week. So he's doing some more WrestleMania weeks with some stuff we didn't talk about during the prior one when he was on vacation. Not to mention this Friday, we did a WrestleMania statistics show. So if you want to just get amped up, if you're a numbers junkie like I am, a complete numbers nerd, we have everything you could possibly ever want. That is going to be this Friday at 10 a.m., the WrestleMania stats show, to go along with everything that we did for WrestleMania week with John Smith, John DeConnie, myself, and Travis. So that is absolutely a great time. And staying with Ryan, the Body Slam Brigade, nearly 4,000 subscribers receive this weekly column each week. Make sure you go to minutestobelltime.com to subscribe to the Body Slam Brigade. It is by Ryan for you for free. The Black Cats NYC, please make sure you get their new album, Free Cake, on all of these music platforms. You can go to Pandora. You can go to Spotify, YouTube, Deezer. I've never heard of Deezer. I'm kind of intrigued on what Deezer actually is. But you can go to all of these places and get the new album by the Black Cats NYC called Free Cake. And then this one is for the ladies. If you're upset with the whole process of putting on your eyelashes, let me tell you about these new magnetic and adhesive lashes that my wife is now proudly selling. Take a look at this picture of her, and as you can see, they make your they look just like eyelashes you put on, but with magnetic eyeliner or an adhesive eyeliner. It just makes the process 10 times easier. Please join Steph's Lovely Lashes on Facebook for more details on these amazing Tory Bell products. The process is as easy as liner, lash, boom. Please go to ProWrestlingPick'em.com. This is the last weekend for this season. Please join in. Get all of your picks in for TakeOver, for Hardcore Justice, and especially WrestleMania. Get used to the format. Make your picks. The new season starts up the Monday right there, and we're kicking off strong with the new season. I believe the first show up is going to be Rebellion by Impact with Kenny Omega taking on Rich Swann to determine, I guess it's title for title, both titles on the line. There is a new scoring system. I revamped everything. There's actually going to be a major amount of points on the line in that match. So make sure you get used to everything now so that when the new season starts up this Monday, you will be ready to go. Make sure you can join the Essential Wrestling Podcast pool, or you can join a pool, create a private pool with just you and your friends. And then there's Saturday. Oh, we are here, ladies and gentlemen. Get excited. The WrestleMania special by the Essential Wrestling Podcast. We bumped our time back to 12 noon. We don't want to take your time away from Hardcore Justice. We have too much respect for Tommy the Dreamer on that one. So please join myself, John DeConnie, and John Smith this Saturday, April 10th at 12 noon. I will be on location on my beautiful island resort, if you want to call it that. But we will be going over all of our picks for WrestleMania. We are excited. I cannot wait. And I absolutely love this music. I'm going to keep talking over it so we don't get copyrighted and get taken off. But I'm going to lower it right now because we got to make sure that you say that next week you join us back for the Essential Wrestling Podcast. We're actually going to be doing a special next week for episode 49. It will be going on an hour earlier. We will be on at 5 o'clock because we have a lot to go over. We got to go over WrestleMania. We got to go over TakeOver. We got to go over Hardcore Justice. I'm sure Dynamite, they're too proud not to go up against TakeOver one last time to end the Wednesday Night War. So I'm sure they counterbooked with some type of Kenny Omega match. I don't know. I'm taping this way ahead of time. I'm just presuming here that AEW is going to go down with the last victory before NXT moves to Tuesday nights, which will include, we'll put Impact on Thursday nights, and now we have 5 days of wrestling, which includes NXT UK on Thursday as well. So Thursday we get a double dose. So that'll do it for us today. Thank you so much for joining us. John Smith, is there anything that you want to add before we get out of here?
No, you did a great job, Al.
Yeah, that is an absolutely great point, John Smith. I'm shocked you didn't save that for the Daily Wrestling News Show on your pro tip segment. Couldn't have said it better myself. John DeConnie, anything with you?
Just big props on a great pick there at your number 2 spot.
You know what? Nobody shocks the system like you, John DeConnie. That bold prediction right there. Bold prediction. I like your style. Brian Joy, anything from you? I appreciate you filling in for me while I'm kind of here in video clip land. I appreciate you taking the wheel for me today. Enjoy your WrestleMania week. Enjoy your 5,000 indie shows that you're going to have to be watching. Anything that you want to promote before we from the indie guys?
Well, just make sure you tune into the Minutes of Bell Time Facebook page because we're going to be having a little bit of lives every day. I think we're going to go live on that page just to kind of show you what we're doing. So do that.
All right. I don't know how much you were talking right there. I gave you a little bit of the countdown. So, gentlemen, thank you so much. It's WrestleMania week. We made it. Get excited. Alexa Bliss, please be careful in that Bray and Randy match. And then John Smith, God, I hope you're right. Bring Tegan back. Let's get her involved in this. Get her back. Get back at Candice LeRae for putting her on the shelf for as long as she's done. All that Captain Marvel training is going to be absolutely great. For myself, for Al Karl, Ryan Joy, John DeConnie, John Smith, I'm not sure what order you are on the side of the screen, but thank you so much for Gary Mehaffy. Tyler, I know you wish you were here too, pal. We love you, our sheriff. WrestleMania! We're going to do the Vince McMahon thing. Ready? Welcome to WrestleMania!